Oh, hooray, it's another one of these again. You know what? I'm just not even going to try. I'm saying this because I want to, so I might as well. But yeah, it's another one of these ranty videos again. I don't even know if this will be a video because I haven't really got a whole lot of footage for it. Uh, just a bit of an update though. Like, I have been thinking I want to do something related to Salmon Run since I hate to brag, but like I've been playing it for like years now, and I've gotten pretty used to a lot of the mechanics, especially given that I've been able to look at the game's models and have been able to determine what's connected and what's not, at least on the most basic of levels to understand salmon runs. So like I feel like I probably should go over that at some point, maybe. Probably not immediately since I'm in the middle of like a whole bunch of things to do, especially what I said with the map ramble stuff. I'm still doing that. Just I'm doing the project. Like the whole project that I'm doing is it involves the maps. That hasn't changed, but it involves getting the stories that I wanted to make in Source through any way possible, and maps are included in that. That hasn't changed. That won't change, but it also includes other assets and facets of Splatoon 1 and 2 that I want to put out to the world. Things that I've written down that I want to make visual, that I want to work out. So that hasn't changed. Okay, the project hasn't changed. It's just that I have two main priorities with it. It's gear and maps, and everything else is sort of just a eventually a minor thing, but not that I'm gonna completely you know, sideline it. So I'm also making this as more of an awareness thing, things that I've learned that I want to do, and this is going to get kind of personal. Not to the point where like you'd know more about me, but more just like stuff I haven't really been able to explain to a wide bunch of people for various reasons. Like, who knows, it could be that like, I don't know, someone doesn't want to pay attention to me, or or like, you know, my fanon is so confusing no one wants to look anything up, or something like that. Just stuff like that, you know, that I want to explain. So like, you're not gonna know anything like I don't even know, but this is like veering into stalker territory. You're not gonna know like exactly where I live or anything. It's just I really wanna put these feelings out to the world so that I'm not just speaking to myself, and a lot of people can get exactly why I'm a little stubborn with some of these things, cause oh boy. Like, as of recently, my motivation is kind of been burning out. Not that I want to quit, especially since I've been getting so close, but it's been kind of hard to get motivation when a lot of the other people that are porting stuff are just... And I'm not referring to... I know I'm not going to mention names, but I'm very aware that you're stalking me. The specific individual that I am referring to here. I'm pretty sure they know who they are, since, well, we have a little bit of a history. But no, I'm not referring to you at all. Like, I've long since forgotten your stuff, and like, maybe now some of my opinions agree and line up with some of yours. We are not 1-to-1, and I am not going to agree on exactly the same level. You're hoping for a pipe dream. But anyway, and like, I'm probably going to mention some of those opinions here, for a lot of the people here who don't know, maybe somebody knows. There are a few people who know. Most of them have probably forgotten though. I have a side channel, and I recently like rebranded it to have the different name that I usually have everywhere else. I'm not going to mention its name, but I do have a side channel, and I'm pretty sure you know what it is because it's where most of my commentary stuff went. And because, well, I need opinions, and it would serve as useless filler on this channel, and you can play mind games all you want. Oh, it's just because she didn't want to lose her 1,000 subscribers gag, even though I really don't care. Not that I hate having 1,000 people watching me, just like I'd rather the attention I receive on videos that I have be actually substantial instead of a number, you know? If there are actually 1,000 people who want to listen to my content meaningfully, that's great, but I'm not gonna gawk over that number. It doesn't mean anything to me. So, but personally, I make what I would want to see. I don't necessarily want to clog this channel up with hundreds of filler videos that are not fun to watch on their own as just, you know, some sort of relic of myself. It wouldn't be fun to see that. If I want a channel for that, I'm gonna have a channel for that. So that's what I've done. And if anyone wants to watch my more controversial opinions, well, yeah, that's where that stuff is. And I recently put out a video there, but this isn't gonna be the same as that. That was very vague, and I kept that intentionally vague, but it doesn't matter because no one's gonna watch it anyway. So, this is mainly about, like, a lot of the tricks, I guess, that I've used importing that aren't really... Like, I had a video related to the gear packs, specifically, the clothing texture packs, but this isn't just about them. It's about everything the Splatoon models can do. So, like, in the beginning, this is funny, because it's not really the beginning. It was, like, a couple months in, but whatever. In the beginning, in quotes... like, the first Inkling model ports were, you know, just the regular ports, just the regular models. And, like, at first, actually, they used to have, the ones ported by, Squidbot back then, they used to only have brown eyes in, like, their very, very first iteration. I still have screenshots of it. And I might show a few here. They're really cringy posed because this was like 2015. I wasn't really like a posing aficionado or anything. It was just sort of what I got in Gmod late 2014, so it would have been only like just over a year by the time the Inklings came out. Or actually, no, I got it in September, so it would have been just under a year when the Inklings first came out, because they came out in like July, June of 2015. So it was like that, you know, I wasn't super great at posing stuff, but they used to have brown eyes, and then an update came out, so then they could, they had a better model, I guess. And like, not only that, they also had every eye color the Inklings normally have in the game, that is, the 7 that existed. And those were the models that people used for a long time. And then the enhanced models came out, and a part of me agrees with what I did back then, a part of me doesn't. But the enhanced models came out, and because for most of that time I used the Inklings, the old Inklings, to pose and stuff, I was very much used to, I think it was Random D Bush who made the physics for them. So seeing this new guy called Duril User come in and make these things, and I've never heard his name before, and I am very used to like a very specific set of collision models. Yes, I made a whole bunch of I made a collage, I guess, of things wrong with his collision model of the Inklings that eventually got fixed because I was a bit more mature about the way I pulled out the feedback, and they are now really good. I haven't think there I don't think there are really that many problems with them, and like subsequent problems I could just report and they would actually see it. Something that I noticed before was something of a problem because those people wouldn't be online or active as much, and those people would be demotivated or doing other things, so their models would be not functional for months or even years. So I was a little anxious to really dive in with the feedback if he wasn't going to be online often. Now he's gone, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, but but like there were a lot of changes made to the enhanced models from their first release, and some for the better because like the physics are way more fluid, and it's just so good. Like a lot of people criticize him now, and I still do in some cases for some of his decisions. Like some still criticize him for the Octarians, and some of it I understand from his end since they are not typical. They are not bipeds in the same manner that everyone that like a human is. So it's not. I understand it's not easy to do such a thing, and I did point these things out originally when I was given like really early builds, like once I think, but that was like ages ago, and I don't have a very good memory of that. So but I still think that his collision models for basically everything else was fine. Just a note, I know a lot of people are going to get on me about this. We noticed, okay? We did notice about the Squid Sister, the casual versions of the Squid Sisters being broken. We did notice. In fact, like, since I was following all of the threads of his add-ons while I was talking with him about the maps, I kept updating him on stuff that would happen if people were talking about a thing, and I mentioned to him about not just that, but like the DJ Octavia thing, how the big version has its eyelids kind of hecked up. Both of these instances were known to him, but User told me in the very beginning, at some point during the last 2 years, he let me know that he wasn't the one who made the rigging. The only thing he did was the collision model that you touch with the fizz gun in Gmod. That's it. He didn't touch the materials. He didn't touch which is kind of what he ended up finding out of my eye changing video, and was like, I didn't make the materials, so why are you referring to me? And that was a bit confusing, because like when it says Duril User's Workshop at the top of the page, I tend to think that's your add-on, but no, not really. Fission made the materials, the rigging, the stuff. And remember what I said during the map, or if not, he moved between computers very often. I don't even remember the full story of it, but he had to change laptops more than once, so he lost the source files that he had for the Squid Sisters, because they're out. Why bother editing them, right? And when he found out about this problem that the Squid Sister casuals don't bone merge the clothes properly, we needed to contact Fission for the stuff. And by the time we had found out, this was well beyond when Fission was like radio silent to everything. Like, both of us contacted him to give this. I even contacted him. Should you need to give the squid sister casual files to user again and fix the rigging and such, or at least if you can't, send him the file that he needed to work with again. But I think it was an issue that, correct me if I'm wrong, but like BIP joint root, the bone that is at the bottom that they're supposed to bone merge to, was a little bit lower on their models than it was supposed to be, and that's kind of why they don't bone merge properly. Like, the rigging's all off. So unfortunately, because he never gave the files, user could never fix the models, and now that user's gone, whoops. So yeah, in terms of the collision models themselves on each of the models though, on anything that was an Inkling Octoling normally, and like not even just that, like the squid model, the octopus model, the kraken, I don't know, I haven't even used the kraken so much, but I just use the squid and octo and it's fine. All of them are really good. Seriously. So it's not as if I stuck with him so long because his collision models were great and I wanted to support him in doing that, in continuing on with that stuff. I do admit, in some bits of our talky talk stuff, I was extremely naggy in some bits. If only so I could keep some of the things that I'm about to mention from happening, because let's just say I've heard words on the grapevine, and those words are really not good. And they're kind of scaring me, actually. Like, legitimately. Like, I don't really know who to turn to at this point. Especially when I don't even have any experience with working with those things to try and attempt to fix it myself. I've been tossing assets all over the place. I managed to find a lot of the base assets for Splatoon 2 and toss them over to a friend of mine who wanted to just mess with them. And then, like, I've been given, like, whole bunches of other things, conflicting information as well, about the state of what's going on, and it's kind of scary. Especially when some of it is going to lead to problems between versions. I mentioned this in the gear video as well, but this just applies to anything. Bone merged objects in Gmod don't really work properly the way you'd want them to. To recap, when an object gets bone merged to something in Gmod, something else in Gmod, the bone merged object, like, the objects fuse, they become one. They, any unique bones that don't match with the base model, the bone merged object, if it has bones that don't match with the object it's bone merging to, those not matching bones are basically going to get deleted. And it's kind of why there's kind of, if you do it the wrong way, where if you get a piece of clothing for the Inklings and Octolings and you bone merge the Octoling to the clothing, so then you right click the clothing and you left click the Octoling, or attempt to left click the Octoling, there's going to be a warning on the Easy Bone Merge tool now that it's going to say, check you're not bone merging backwards, because the shirts only have the torso bones, so all the leg bones and the hair bones and the head bones are just gonna end up in the regular T-pose. They're not gonna work anymore because they don't match with the shirt, because the shirt doesn't have those bones, if you get what I'm saying. So, like, again, what I've heard in SFM, and this is like why the like enhanced models would have to be different if we're talking about Splatoon 2 logistics. bone merged objects in SFM, at least like bone merged objects, they don't, because it's like a scene, because it's made as a scene building program to animate and the like, because it's built that way, the objects, when they are attached to another model, they don't lose their individual properties. This is why, say, the enhanced models that Fission is supposedly making, go out, are released, to Gmod and SFM. In SFM's case, again, purely going off of what I've heard and what I've observed because I don't use it, you would get, in the enhanced models, you would get the Inklings, Octolings, basically everything of their skin and the bit that, of their legs. Because, like, the models in Splatoon 2, because of the fact we've got pants now, because of the fact we've got pants, there's no point in having a torso part anymore. So it's just plain gone. Originally, the shorts were just a part of the base model, but because, they've got to interchange them, the shorts and all that have got to be, like, different models. And they have, like, masks for them, for, like, pants and stuff, so then they don't clip. Because it's actually pretty obvious that, after a while, they are going to start clipping. And, yeah, it's not very fun to look at, but that's not my main point of concern here. But you're not going to get their hair or their pants because you will be able to interchange that. You would just attach the hair and pants, and then you would be able to articulate any part of those models as you see fit. You could, absurd as it is, you could, like, bone merge the pants onto the Inkling model, let's say, and then, like, you could just turn the leg bone of the pant out so that it just starts, like, the bit before the knee, let's say, of the pant is on the leg, but then, like, the bit after the knee is just sticking out. Like, apparently from what I've heard, that can be possible in SFM. Okay, then your next question. Why don't you use SFM then? I like physics better. I really like having the ability to physics a lot of the things in Gmod. But I will put up with the bone merging system if others can learn it and deal with it. I would like for there to be a better bone merging system, I really would, but as it is now, I like physics, and I would like a better bone merging system, but I like physics more than that stuff, so I'm gonna keep talking about it from my end, because in Gmod, that doesn't happen unless, you do some things. So, this is the reason why the clothes from all of our texture packs do not need physics, because when a piece of clothing bone merges in Gmod, if it has matching bones and the bone rotations are alright and whatever, if the originating model has a physics model, it's just going to attach to that model, basically. So, like, that's why when you drag an Inkling up, the clothes will follow it. It basically just follows the bones that it's attached to, like it's supposed to do. But those individualized bones on the shirt, they don't exist. It's basically just a decal on the Inkling or Octoling. So, I'm probably saying that wrong, but I don't really care. But, like, the gear itself has its own skeleton, and then once it attaches to the Inklings' skeleton, it's basically just a part of the Inklings' skeleton now. It's kind of why, when you undo the bone merged entity in Gmod, it says, instead of saying undone effect, it will say undone bone merged propped. Bone merged propped. Bone merged prop. There we go. But bone merged prop is a different thing entirely from, the effect that it started out as, because now the skeleton of the bone merged prop is gone. If not gone, fused with the model that it's bone merged to. That's the point of bone merging. It is literally merging the bones. So, and again, like I mentioned in that video, this is probably going to be half of a repeat of that, but the hats similarly function this way and need their own bone like it currently is in order for them to be able to manipulate themselves, like I explained with the convenience and stuff. Again, you should probably watch that video again if you haven't seen it already. It's like my experience with ports and stuff. It's got rant in it, and there's an Inkling T-post as the thumbnail because I'm lazy and don't normally like custom thumbnails for stuff. But the hats need that. Because I have seen it in the past, even on a community level, where I can actually talk about examples. I don't have, like, the example exactly on me anymore, but I think it was Blue, Raven Blue, who made a picture a long time ago, as a couple of pictures actually, and a couple of people were asking, I think, the picture that I'm thinking of is a picture that they made for another user called Omega Labris, and the Octo goggles were on her head, basically. And I remember, if not in that picture, somewhere else on one of his pictures or on someone else's pictures. It most likely would have been his, because that's how he was showing that in the picture. How do I put the glasses on the head? And like, this is exactly why I used it as the example, because people are going to ask that. How do you put the glasses on the head? Or in the reverse scenario, Octo glasses are already on their head. How do I put the glasses on the face? These are actual questions people would ask. And like, okay, fine, do it for glasses only, but then like you would ignore all those things I was saying about the power mask and how it could be in different positions. Personally, myself, I have a character who her name's Harmony, and I've made a few pictures. This particular picture that I'm going to show is just like the main example in that I like moving her hat around the head as personality. I would use it to hide her face as an example. Just a number of things that would help give personality to characters that normally don't have it. And this could be with really any of the hats, even if they cover most of the face. Like I mentioned, the Power Mask Fantasy, what if someone actually wants to do that? You can't just deny it because it's a hat you don't exactly want to use it on. And when Fission was making the hat packs, I told Fission about this, and I explained to him this, and this is exactly why all of the gear has the head bone model. But that was years ago. Like, he released the hats in 2017, so it would have been during either 16 or very, very early 17 when I told him that stuff. And he took it well then, but this was before a lot of the instances that have happened. And again, like I said, word on the grapevine is that things are happening, and those things are in some cases not very good, and I'm very scared about some of those things.